Welcome back to the grim darkness of the 41st Millennium. I'm Inquisitor Temperance Pryce, keeper of the Inquisition's Black Library, and this is the third volume in a report on the Valentyne Heresy, an actual play podcast set in the Genesys Adaptation of Warhammer 40,000's Dark Heresy RPG. This report features Game Master Tom McGee and players Ryan LaPlante as Inquisitor Lucius Valentyne, Tyler Hewitt as Attikus Vis, Laura Hamstra as Eli Sharpe, and Borovic as Morgan Rhalls. My report shows that the Inquisitorial Band exchanged their stolen goods with the Ordo Xenos. Attikus introduced Father Marcellus to the party. Morgan searched the ship for secret passages. Eli lamented the loss of his weapons, and Valentyne made a new Inquisitorial ally but was forced to take on a minder. What will happen when this new Interrogator joins the crew? Find out next in this episode of the Valentyne Heresy.
Overheard in the Xenos command chamber aboard the flight deck of Hearthold, immediately after a call with Inquisitor Lucius Valentyne. Inquisitor Maid. I really like that guy.
All right, so we have a new party member joining us. Morgan, I would love to speak with you in my chambers if possible. And then in, say, 2 hours, I would love to bring our whole crew together so I can give a little speech before we leave the planet. If anyone has any business that they need to carry out with anyone on this world, do so now.
Does anyone have any business they would like to deal with people on this world that they
Eli
should do so
gives
now?
a sharp, ha!
Attikus clears his throat and will just say, I would also like to speak with Morgan Rhalls. Whenever's convenient for you, but before we leave.
Excellent. Anyone else? All right, looks like we've got a plan. Do you know what, Morgan? I can speak to you afterwards, so why don't you speak with Eli now? We'll have our large meeting, and then you and I can speak separately. Would you like me to be there for this conversation?
I've spoken with her for 5 years nonstop. I'm out. And Eli just leaves.
Fabulous. Attikus, do you require me for this conversation, or would you rather it was just, shall we say, one-on-one?
Makes no difference to me, sir.
Excellent. I trust you to handle this. And then Valentyne is going to walk out to go review his notes. He's got to put together a fucking report for Mutus on who he can give up from Billingberg's network.
So, having set up your various conversational needs, the Marnie Song is going to be a rather busy place. You are, of course, still waiting on your envoy from Maid, who will be bringing you the Xenos tech, Valentyne, that you requested, but will also be kind of along as an observer in a helpful capacity. So, like, they're not there as a, neutral party who's not going to help. They're going to, help out as long as you're not, I don't know, doing evil Xenos shit. But they are definitely there to kind of keep an eye on Maid's investment and to make sure that you don't fall down that pit that you hear about every 4 chapters in an Eisenhorn book of an Inquisitor who goes too far. So we've got a number of conversations lined up. First and foremost, Attikus and Morgan, you remain on the bridge to have a brief word about Morgan's treatment of Grimly. So Attikus, go ahead.
Is Grimly here with us?
That's up to you. He's, he's kind of getting all the pre-flight stuff is honestly probably done by now. The ship is very good as 40K ships go. So I think Attikus, he'd probably be looking to you. Like, he defers to Valentyne, obviously, but if Valentyne isn't saying anything to him immediately, you've scared him enough with your boots up on his console and stared over his shoulder.
Actually, I did not want to speak to Morgan about Grimly Moody. If he's divulging information, that's a weakness of his, not something to be worried about for Morgan. She's with us. She's our infiltrator.
Right. Okay.
And so I will deal with him. But
okay, Morgan, you're off the hook. Good luck and Godspeed. You make your way out of the command deck, leaving Grimly in his worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Alone with Attikus. So he is at sharp attention, but in a recruit who fucked up at the beginning of a boot camp sequence in a movie kind of attention.
Okay. I still want to talk to Morgan, though, about something completely unrelated to Grimly Moody. So I will also leave and talk to Morgan.
I love this
Just
so much.
leave him standing there.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I'll deal with him later. We're not flying anywhere yet, so we got time.
There's an amazing bit in the Preacher comics where the lead has the voice of God, so he make you just do whatever he says. And at one point, one of the villains is like fucking with him. He's just like, count these grains of sand on this beach, and then he fucks off. And he doesn't kill the guy, but the guy just starts crying, and he leans down and picks one up, and then the waves come in, and he starts at one again. And that's what Grimly Moody's life is like right now. He's just standing there, trembling in an empty room, and he'll just be there until you come back. He's now just a video game NPC waiting for you to take an interest again. But that is no concern of Attikus Vis. You continue off down the hall to speak to Morgan.
Right, Morgan, this is just going to take a moment of your time. I've been assigned a special task to oversee Gideon Kotov, make sure he's not doing anything heretical. And if he is, to report it and basically execute him at Valentyne's orders. Now, I recognize I'm not the most subtle of the bunch, but I believe you might be. And so when I am not actively watching him, I would appreciate it if in my absence, you took a look at him a little bit more discreetly. Perhaps when I leave, he thinks that's time for him to get up to his nefarious deeds, and that's when you can catch him. Does that sound good?
Morgan smirks a bit, and I will, I guess, check, because Toby's not with her. Toby's probably in the main compound of the ship. Does Toby have eyes on Gideon?
Unless you specifically set Toby up, although even then, like, I feel like, well, I don't know.
Just
Gideon kind of
there.
like, yeah. So normally I feel like Gideon wouldn't be thrilled about having anything over his shoulder while he works, but he does
he
kind
likes
of,
the bird.
he does like the bird, and he kind of works for you guys. So you also can't really say like, I want the corner office, you know? But I guess the question falls to you, Morgan, in terms of, well, and honestly, I guess you as well, Valentyne, of like, where would Toby be welcome in the ship? Like, where would you want to put him, Morgan? And Valentyne, where would you allow him to be placed?
Valentyne would give Toby theoretically the run. He doesn't have a reason to limit Toby's access to things other than like, I mean, he'd let Morgan wander around because Morgan's not going to kill everybody on board. That'd be the only thing he'd be paranoid about. As long as like Toby's not fucking shit up, Toby will get a run. But like Toby starts fucking up, Valentyne will make rules. He's like an absentee parent. If the kids aren't fighting, he's not going to worry about it.
Yeah. And I think just like in the bar, she would try to put Toby on a high place in a main area, and then he'd just be like a security monitor where he would just chill out and watch things when she doesn't actively have use for him. You know?
So, Tom, I'm trying to picture this for the Marnie song, though, which is like, we've discussed some ships before that were like Quinjet-like and other things like that. Kotov obviously has a bunch of equipment that requires its own room. Does he have like his own space, or we're like this storage area is his room, or is it like a shared area?
So this ship is the largest one that you guys have been on since the one you started on, Ryan, way back in episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost thinking of this thing as kind of like a little bit larger Millennium Falcon. The parts of the Enterprise we see in any given series, where it's like there is legitimately enough space for all of you to kind of have, or like the Rocinante and the Expanse, like there's enough space for all of you to kind of have your own berth. There's space to set up the lab. There is cargo areas. This will honestly never come up because he's very dead. But Billingberg comes from like good, sort of like rich stock, and as a result had access to a lot of money. So he retrofitted this thing very, very well. He would often transport, whether it was things for his nefarious purposes or just inquisitorial stuff, like this ship is well equipped, enough so that it can do long distances. Like, this is a nice central base for you. Now, that said, it's not massive. You're not going to be able to engage in like fleet actions or anything with it, but it's nimble enough to, not really dogfight, but kind of do the like DS9 Defiant thing where it can just like, you can hold your own in a fight, but you're not a fighter. And if you're around large ships, I mean, honestly, in Star Wars terms, it's like the, oh no, both those ships are too small. Anyway,
the one from Mass Effect feels like it's the
Normandy.
mid-range.
Yeah. Honestly, if you view the Normandy, that's a pretty fucking good pull. Thank you, Ryan.
No problem.
So think the Normandy, but if it was designed by someone who only had access to rectangles and cathedrals, and like weird Gothic sprues, and spiky bits, because it's not sleek like the Normandy, but it is sizable like the Normandy. So enough areas for all of you to kind of hang out and have your own space. You're not on top of each other, which is part of what, Morgan, you discovered last episode in terms of the sort of vents and things running throughout the ship. It means that there is a cargo hold. It means there was room to set up a containment chamber that, like, Kotov can now turn into his lab. You have your med bay. You're pretty decently equipped on this ship. And maybe you can romance crewmates, and there's like a sequence where you get to play as the pilot. Like, it's a good little base of operations.
Nice. But yeah, I think it just if Kotov isn't going through the main thoroughfare, that's just what she would be looking. So I think it's just a moment of her looking off to the side and just checking for Attikus' sake, and then.
Yeah, I think all you would get, Morgan, are glimpses of him coming and going, because I really do feel like you're at the central, almost like the break in the center where it's like you have to go left or right. So you can see everyone coming and going, and I think once you have a better sense of the ship, you should be able to actually have a pretty good sense of where, if someone is walking with purpose to the left, that probably means they're going to X place. So you definitely see Kotov here and there. You can see some stormtroopers helping him load things in. But it really is like, if you're playing the footage by quickly, occasionally he'll just like zip out and walk around a little bit and then zip off screen. He's not like sitting there like actively committing treason in front of the screen.
Right. Well, that's fine.
Yes.
Just a little check. She'll look back at Attikus. I understand. I have no love of heresy myself, so I will keep my eyes open.
Ooh.
Is there anything else I can do for you, Colonel Vis?
No, not at this time. This will be a ongoing duty of yours. Inquisitor Valentyne has left it to me to delegate this as I see fit and enlist your assistance along with Mr. Sharpe. And so we're going to see how you do.
We will see, won't we? All right, then.
Carry on, then.
And Attikus will wheel back around. You'll hear a door open and close, and then you'll just hear "Grimly," and that's just where that will end.
I think she would linger by and listen to this shit, just next to the door, standing next to the door with it closed.
I mean, I assume, like, Attikus, you're just dressing him down, or, I mean, I'm happy to play that out with you if you want, but...
She
What
just
have I
wants to hear
fucking
it.
told you about talking to strangers?
Right, no.
Nothing, because you're not a goddamn child.
Yes, sir. No, not a child, sir. Just a pilot and an obedient one, sir. May I sit down?
It's gonna do that bullshit teacher thing of like, no, you did say may instead of can. Yeah.
I like
in that
Attikus just yelling, "Can I?"
Can you?
Sir, not unless I receive a directive from you, sir.
It's better.
And then he'll leave.
Grimly Moody's bad day continues. All right. So Valentyne, are you waiting to address the crew until the interrogator arrives, or would you?
Ideally, yeah, he would wait for the interrogator to get everybody together. And he's got to finalize. He's already done the pulling together of the report that he's going to give Damian Mutis on where to hunt down Billingberg's, let's just say, less useful assets.
And there are a bunch.
Yeah.
He's got the tomb ships and the Abacus network out and about, but for most of the wet work, he's just got scum and villainy all over the place that he can call in. So yeah, there's plenty for a friendly witch hunter to go.
Yeah, he'll hang on to the tomb ships and financial assets. Possibly if there are no, he can't trust the spies. Yeah, everybody else gets to fucking die. It's just money in the tomb ships.
Great. Okay, so Morgan, you are sort of making your way through the ship. Would you move Toby now, having kind of got this directive, or no?
I guess, yeah. She would set him up nearer to where Kotov is setting up his stuff. Like if she followed all the stormtroopers and people carrying things, just further down the hallway that way to just keep an eye. But not be too suspicious.
Oh yeah, it's just a giant metal bird with
he's just hanging out.
Repulsors hanging out.
It's fine. You find
With
a
the
nice
lenses
shelf
zooming
to sit
on its eyes.
Yeah, you said it's fine, but I thought you said spying. Just he's just spying. Cool.
As birds do.
Yeah, as you do. Great. So you
birds, nature's spy.
Natural bird behavior.
They hoard information and spy.
Yeah.
Birds.
That's why owls are always asking who. They're trying to determine the motive.
Trying to figure it out.
They're just the least
who's
subtle
behind
about
this?
it. All the other birds shut the fuck up. Give us away. Fucking owls.
That's why the posters say, give a hoot, gather intel. That's what they're regarding. They're referring to spying.
Eyes in the back of your head and all that. So you place Toby in an appropriate give a hoot, gather intel position, and
right in front of a 40K poster that's like, Heresy, we're watching you. And he's just sitting in front of him.
Well, he can't be watching for Heresy. There's already a poster. You make your way sort of away from there, and you're certainly still getting the feed, I think, and checking it to see it. And sure enough, moments later, Gideon Kotov is walking by, and he notices because it's very obvious. And he just kind of leans in, and he taps on Toby's eye, and then he just kind of breathes on it and uses his sleeve to wipe it, and just says, "Hi, hi there. Are there going to be any heretics on this heretic? I saw the poster. No. Oh, okay. Well, you let me know if you see him in there. And he just takes a guess. He's like, "Thank you, sir." It's like Attikus, and then he fucks off back down the hall. But your moment of respite is brief and still filled with annoyance because of that. And as you make your way down, you hear and smell, you hear the sort of thunderous footsteps, and you just smell a stench, and just immediately a massive hand clamps down on your shoulder, and Thaddeus just says, "You'll have to pardon me, Miss Rhalls. This one must examine you to ensure that you are not infected and do not become a monstrosity such as I. Please follow me to the medical bay so we can ensure that the filthy Xenos has not infected you."
Morgan full body shudders when he grabs her. It seems that you are staying with us then, is that right?
Until the Emperor sees fit to consume me in his loathing, yes. Now this way. And he just starts walking with you. And it's
I don't think there's anything she can do about it, even if she wants to. I think she's doing the angry lady walk of jerking away, but there's not much to be done about it.
Yeah. And you get the sense that he's not trying to strong arm you. It's just he's got a task.
He just is strong.
he is strong. And also there's just a sense about him that like he's just one of those doctors who's so committed to like, well, of course, like that he's the dentist who's always shocked that you don't floss as often as you're supposed to. It's like, no, but like that's how your teeth stay. Why wouldn't it's so easy? And we're all just like, shut up, I'm sleepy. So he's that guy where it's just, why wouldn't you want a medical checkup after handling gross Xenos technology? Like, of course. So sort of almost unconsciously, he pushes you into the medical bay. And I think this is the first time you've seen the medical bay, Morgan, and it's somewhat of a relief. It is fucking nice in here. As like 40K tech goes, this place is pretty top of the line. So he sits you down and he grabs. You can see that he's also a bit of a kid in a candy store in here because he just has access to nicer toys. So he grabs sort of a couple things and just says, "Now, Ms. Rhalls, you did handle the Xenos carapace. Have you felt anything strange? Any new growths? Are there eyes where there were not eyes before?"
She gives him this dead stare, holds her hands up, and just, all I did was touch it. It was packaged. That's it. I'm fine. I don't feel any different. Any of that.
But if a material is radioactive, the packaging cannot save you. You will become like me, and I cannot allow that blasphemy on this ship. Morgan, you realize he's going to just keep at this for a while. He is going to check you for every known Xenos plague mutation. It's up to you to try and get out of this. So we find ourselves in social combat.
No.
You tell me how you're going to try and get out of this, and then we'll figure out what you're rolling.
So I think she would, if he actually checks her and does one test, she would stay for that much. And then it would be, I have to leave because Inquisitor Valentyne said he had to speak with me and I have to go. You cannot keep me here any longer. I have things that I have to do. I need to leave now. Just straight up. Goodbye. Technically not true. But
well, I mean, it is true. He does want to talk to you. Just not like right this minute. So exactly. I'm going to say charm probably makes the most sense here because it's not deception. I take charm or coercion.
Okay, fine.
Look, you decided to tell him the actual thing that you need to do. I'm not trying to fuck you on this. It's literally just like,
all right, what's the difficulty?
Do you need to leave? Well, yes, Valentyne wanted to talk to me. Oh, okay. So he is a very good doctor. So your difficulty, it's going to be 4 purple. It is I know for those of you listening, this is just for those of you listening, this is probably useful information. This is a split session for us. So I'm just going to reset the story point pool because it seems only fitting to do so. At the start of a new session for us recording today. So I'm going to reset, particularly since we're in such a low stakes environment, to 3 and 2 in your favor.
That's better than 1 and 4 like it was at the end of last session.
It absolutely is.
We'll take it. Thanks, Tom.
Laura, because it's your birthday, I'm going to give you a story point that only you can use that does not count towards the pool. Just one gift story point that you can use at any point in a future session. So there you go.
Special.
Yep. Yeah, happy birthday,
Eli's gonna die this episode, isn't he?
No, you can use this story point to miraculously survive.
Now I'm suspicious that Tom's just like laying the foundation for like a false sense of security. Anyways, continue.
Honestly, Laura, if you can find a way to die during the medical examination of Morgan Rhalls in a completely separate room not involving you, like I'll just be impressed. But if there was ever a
around
system
the corner, you just hear the Tyranids, and then just a gunshot, and just Eli's not on the show anymore.
Thaddeus is like, what's behind your ear? Morgan just pulls out Horus, and then Horus just starts killing. Anyway,
sorry, I digress.
Honestly, both great digressions. Ryan's super dark, and I'm a fan. So that is where the story points sit for this weird split session. Morgan, in terms of bonuses and setback. You're a person who lies practically for a living, and you accidentally told the truth. So I'm going to give you a boost. Lies are a lot easier when they aren't lies. Despite your best efforts, apparently.
I tried. It was just a very not big lie, I guess.
Yep. I'm also going to give you a boost for the fact that the package was wrapped. Like this is actually a fairly, you weren't like holding, I don't know, a vial of Tyranid DNA in your teeth or anything.
Yes, it's true.
So it's a lower stakes thing for him. I am going to give you a setback for being just generally unsettled by the presence of a beast man, as most of you are, with the exception of Valentyne, who is like totally chill with it, which I love. That's how we get the heresy in the Valentyne Heresy, by the way.
He's just glad to have a fucking doctor.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. R.I.P. most of the cast. Okay, and I think that's it for me. I'm not going to spend any story points on this.
Cool. I'm not either, because I think even just saying that, Morgan just expects him to just, okay, goodbye. She's not putting a huge spin on this because it seems like it shouldn't be a big deal, but we're learning about this, man. Okay, I'm gonna just roll it. Oh, 3 successes, 1 threat. Well, that squeaked out of there. She's not charming, but he made it somehow.
Okay, so he a look of concern passes over his face, and he just says, "Oh no! If you must speak with the Inquisitor speaks with the voice of the Golden Emperor." And he like kisses his necklace. He says, one as lowly and disgusting as myself could not possibly stand in the way of the Emperor's words. And yet, the Emperor's will is that no further abominations or Xenos be suffered to live. And thus, I will need to check up on you regularly. We will have weekly checkups to ensure that no further problems occur. But for now, you are free to go and serve him in his glory. Please, if you can, pass along a good word for my destruction and redemption. Kisses the necklace. It says, and I'll see you next week.
Oh yes, I will do that, and I will be back without incident. That will happen. And then she leaves.
It's a good thing it's a small ship. And he just starts placing rosettes. Or aquilets, rather. Okay. So, Valentyne, you get a ping that that someone has arrived. Eli, I think we're actually gonna have you answer the door on this. Where do you think Eli fucked off to after the sort of bridge sequence?
Eli fucked off. Well, first of all, as Attikus left to talk to Morgan, he just looked at what's his name?
Grimly.
Yeah, I was just like, and that's it. And then he just walks out the door. And he goes to find his bag, which was placed on the ship somewhere while he was off, gaining access to archives.
Who's off being an Inquisitor, as you do.
As you do. And to find one of his 3 bottles of trank that he brought with him. Because it's been a minute.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Laura, what I'm going to need from you then is let's go with, I'm inclined to say skullduggery, but I would take an argument for like if you have some kind of whatever your ship sense would be.
My ship sense.
Like it could be driving, it could be I would take. I mean, it could also straight up just be perception. I'm just trying to think. Like skullduggery.
Does streetwise become shipwise?
Yeah, because basically, like skullduggery. I guess skullduggery is more like fucking with people. So yes, I would take streetwise. That would make sense to me.
I think this would be more of like, I don't know, almost like a tech use. Like Eli understands ships. He knows he has experience, and like he's boarded so many different types of ships in his days. Like he knows. I think he knows where he's going. So.
Yeah, because I really
can quickly place together.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, I'll buy that. Yeah, because I was very much thinking of this as like a like every bus driver knows where people leave bags on the bus.
Yeah.
Kind of thing where it's just like, if they had any sense, they would stow this bag here. Of course, we know they didn't, but you don't. So let's find out if you discover the truth or not.
Yeah.
Okay, so sure. Tech use, I'm going to say difficulty of 3.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm going to give you a boost for this being a well-lit non-combat ship. You're used to looking for things in the dark with bullets flying, and this time you're just taking a walk. That's kind of weird, but sure. It feels almost like you're going through a haunted house ride with the lights on, where you can just see where all the things are, and it's odd for you. It's kind of pleasant. How much easier these boarding actions have been with a fucking light.
Totally.
That said, as you've indicated, it's been a while, so I'm going to give you 1 setback for Jonesin.
Yep.
Jonesin for the sauce. And I think that's it for me. Anything
I'm just going to roll.
Yeah, go for it.
1 advantage.
1 advantage. Okay, so you don't find the bag. Someone has put it somewhere very stupid that you really dislike. However, I think from your advantage, we can say that you got a really good sense of the ship. So now if you need to go anywhere on the ship, like, there's no like, oh, took a left turn at engineering. Oh no, it's like I always did while playing Mass Effect. It's just like you can go straight to the place you want to go when you want to go there.
Cool.
But I think that actually dovetails nicely into the arrival of the Interrogator then, because it's basically during this search that you find yourself like checking the bottom of the ramp to make sure your bag made it aboard. When a sort of small like powered cart arrives, so kind of like a pull, like a wagon that's powered, like a heavy loader, and it's got just kind of loaded up with classic 40K crates that you would find on a base of something maybe, or if you're building some terrain, it's just that kind of classic military rectangular box, but with fancy stuff in the corners, locked, purity seals everywhere, the whole deal. And it is pulled by a woman who has sort of very severe features. She's wearing essentially like kind of what we would think of as like Mad Max's outfit from like the Mad Max films, or Fallout, if that's an easier pull, where it's like it's leathers, lots of straps, like lots of sort of like a Rob Liefeld amount of pockets, and just like loaded up with ammunition, bolt pistol, chainsword, and a tough looking customer. She's got a pretty wicked scar that just kind of runs from one cheek across the bridge of her nose to the other cheek. You can see that the nose has been reconstructed. The scar has been left, but it's not like there's a gap. There probably should be. So there's almost an uncanny valley vibe to her face a bit. And she's got sort of both sides of her head shaved, and sort of the top of her hair pulled back into sort of a loose top knot. She kind of approaches you, Eli, and despite everything you've been through, you still, when you're near a ship, you seem like the guy who fits with the ship. Like if this is being sold as a boxed set, like of course you come with the ship. So she approaches you and says, "Pardon me, sir. I'm looking for the Marnie's song. Is that this vessel?"
We haven't taken off yet.
Nope.
Okay. For a second, I thought we were like,
she's floating through space.
Oh, no more cheats.
Is my bag out here?
Yes, of course.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not a demon. Thump, thump, thump.
Oh,
Just
God.
trust me. Open the airlock.
Oh,
Thump,
God.
thump, thump.
This is how you know I'm an ethical editor, because I won't cut my idiocy out. And I just Eli just folds his arms and says, "Depends who's asking."
I was sent by Inquisitor Maid here in the space dock, controlled by the Ordo Xenos on Hearthold, this planet that we're all on right now. But she says
That
I was
seemed unnecessary, but okay.
I merely wanted to establish the facts. They seemed necessary to me. In any case, I'm seeking Inquisitor Lucius Valentyne. I have a delivery for him and have been instructed to join his crew. Are you Inquisitor Lucius Valentyne? And like, you can tell there's like just an edge of disappointment almost at the back of her teeth as she says this. Like, she's not quite biting it back. It's just,
No, I'm not. What's your name?
I am Interrogator Core of the Ordo Xenos.
Interrogator Core.
Cora. You see, this is why I explain details. I am very glad to hear you are not the Inquisitor. Interrogator Cora.
Clora. I don't know. That's what I heard like 3 times. Do I have like some sort of comms on me? Were we given?
No, because I mean, you're still like, you haven't really been equipped because you kind of came from the bar to a bench to having your brain stripped to here. So no.
Is there like a comms pad? Like,
I would say up the ramp and in the ship.
Eli says, "Wait here," and he tromps back up the ramp. And hits the comms, like tries to like get it to go through the ship.
Oh, very easily. Again, like easily? Now that you're on the ship, it's like, oh, hell yeah.
Inquisitor Valentyne, there's an interrogator, Clor. Apparently I'm not saying that right, but I swear it's what she said it like 3 times. Here, apparently.
Great, let her on board. Thank you.
All right, Sharpe out. And he just yells, "Get on!"
Is that a come aboard order?
Yes.
And you just hear like the grinding of the gears, and she
formal.
Pulls the cart up, and she's like, "Oh, so disorganized." She just like mutters past you, and deeper into the ship.
Eli follows her naturally.
Yeah, sure. Valentyne, where would you be after? Like, would you be waiting to greet the interrogator? Would you be trying to get everyone together? Like, what? Because I mean, you've got this grand address planned, and I'm not quite sure what that looks like for you.
Yes. So Valentyne would have been pulling together his report in his office so he could send that away to Mutis, which I think is just, here's the interrogators coming. There's like the send key, so that's officially sent away.
You get like an immediate ping back.
Oh yeah, cool. What does it say? Something? Yeah, you check it.
It's an audio log, and it's just you're just like, "Dear Inquisitor Valentyne, the Emperor is known for his gifts. You may be the Emperor's favorite son, for this gift will truly make a bounty for me. I must say, when I was trying to kill you, I did not know that such joys could be rendered from friendship rather than war. I thank you. Every time I burn a heretic, I shall hear the words, Valentyne, Valentyne, deep within their screams and the flames. Ta-ta for now. Sincerely, David Mutis."
Valentyne will record a quick one back. Best of luck with your hunt, Damien, and great friends are made outside of war, but even truer friends are made in the crucible of it. Hopefully we'll get to hunt together soon.
You like, there's an immediate ping back, but you know not to respond to this one. Like, he's clearly going to be
no,
the
he's
last
done.
word guy.
Yeah. That's the reply guy. We don't need this.
Yeah, this is the Slack equivalent of like just responding with an emoji to try and kill the conversation. It's like, cool, we're good. Amazing. So yeah, you send that off.
Right.
And immediately his ship like starts taking off. Like, they were just waiting. They're ready to go fucking murder.
And then he would just make an announcement through the ship to tell everyone to meet in the mess hall. That feels like the biggest area for him to be able to give a talk. He doesn't really need to intimidate this crew. He's a legitimate Inquisitor, and everyone here accepts the rank. So it's different than where he may have had to be more theatrical in presentation previously.
Awesome. Okay. So everyone starts making their way, and honestly, it is a bit of a crew now. You got Father Marcellus. There's Terseus. You've got like Kotov and his weird like little coterie of bizarre machines that are kind of attending to him. I imagine he's a lot of like the margin drawings from a codex, where it's like from that one weird art style where everything's like really jagged and kind of disgusting and spooky. Just like a lot of skulls.
Yep.
John Blanche stuff. Yeah, exactly. So it's just everything's at odd angles. It's like Tim Burton threw up, and that's what's flying around. And of course, Troseus is there, sort of coming to join you as well. He looks slightly irked to have been kind of disturbed from his studies because he's been diving deep. And Valentyne, he actually catches your eye sort of as he makes his way in and gives you kind of a nod and just sort of gestures at a data pad, but is obviously going to keep his distance for now. And his little tiny writing arms are like writing on little scrolls as he does that. Attikus, quick question for you: do you go and get Grimly, or do you just leave him there?
If Grimly does not appear here in the mess hall as ordered by Inquisitor Valentyne, there will be hell to pay.
All right. I'm gonna roll for poor Grimly. Attikus, what's your probably coercion, I guess?
I think I get a bonus to coercion because of my armor. Intimidating design, 1 auto success on coercion.
Nice.
But my coercion rating, being willpower, is 4 green.
Okay. So you've got 4 green. Do you have any points?
I don't have any
willpower?
ranks. I don't have any ranks.
So it's just a skill. Okay, dope. That makes sense.
So it's just willpower.
Okay.
Auto success.
I've given him an auto fail. It's good. You're covered there. Okay, so following orders is kind of his thing. So he's got 1 yellow, 3 green, 4 purple, 1 blue, and 1 auto failure. And I'm gonna give him a setback for not understanding which of you to actually listen to. And let's roll those bones. The end result was a wash.
Oh no!
So
Just paces rapidly back and forth
yeah, I think
between
it's
the 2 rooms.
Yeah, I think it's like a lot of the like 2 steps forward. No, I don't know, but I should. So there's just that. It's just like he's just kind of moving around like a broken NPC in a video game, uncertain, and like kind of trying to like catch Attikus's eye, but you're so short and everyone else is tall that he can't really do it. So he can't get a quick sense from you of whether he's doing right. Okay, great. So he's there. So everyone piles into the mess hall, and Valentyne, for the first time, you can actually kind of see your full retinue arranged. It's also, again, the first time you get to properly address everyone as an Inquisitor. I assume Eugene is like floating around recording.
Correct. Especially if Grimly's like wandering in and out of the fucking room, he can get a tape. Valentyne doesn't need to do the speech multiple times, which is why he got everybody together all at once to just be like, I'm going to tell everybody what the fuck's going on, and then they all know.
Okay, amazing. So the interrogator kind of joins the crew. I guess my question to you, Ryan, is like, does your conversation with the interrogator matter to this speech? Or is it speech to everyone assembled and then you'll deal with the interrogator?
He would say hi to the interrogator. He would give this talk, and then there could be direct follow-up afterwards. Just the interrogator's here. Interrogator's part of the crew. He can get this done so that, shit can start taking off.
Absolutely. Okay, so we'll say she's at the back. Like, it's more of a, like, she's been greeted by, probably, honestly, Troseus. Comes over, greets her on your behalf, tells her, like, scoot over. She would have heard the announcement, so, she's just kind of on the edge there in the crowd. And Valentyne, you're able to kind of get up. I assume like you tell me what it looks like.
He would stand across from the group at like a parade rest, which for him is a comfortable way to stand. It's not performative. It probably looks like it. It's just that's all he did for the first 19 years of his life. So
sure,
that's as relaxed as he gets. And he'll just say, "Welcome all of you once again to the Emperor's service. There's a great deal of information that I need to pass on to all of you, and the most pertinent points I will do so now. Random confluence has brought you here, is what a member of the Mechanicus might say, or those who look at the galaxy and see only scientific truth. But that is a falsehood. The Emperor has brought you here, because we are here to save the Emperor. And yes, I know that as servants of the Inquisition, or the Ecclesiarchy, or any of the various disciplines that you've come from, you've all saved the Emperor in the sense that you have been protecting the Imperium. The Inquisition are the white blood cells that flow through the Imperium. The red cells, those that flow greatly, are the military might. But we hunt for the dangers within, and the dangers without, that of the danger of infection. However, cells can only go so far, and the limbs are long, and the beating heart and brain at the center are one and the same, and they are our Golden Emperor. Everyone on this ship has been assembled because there is a cabal that is going to destroy the Emperor, originally within a year, until we foiled their original plans. We've defeated the heinous heretic Fabius Bile and his attempt to join this group. We've defeated Inquisitor Barthus Billingberg, declaring him extremis diabolus for being a part of this horrific heresy. We have destroyed the rogue trader Vicodin. And those were only the weakest tendrils of this cabal. Our mission as we move forward is of the utmost importance. We can trust no one else to take part. We do not know how far and how deep this corruption runs. It has been so effective that even I was almost killed by the Inquisition itself because of those who created false evidence to try to blame me, to try to throw me off this path. When we leave here, we will be alone in his light, which means we will stand together. I will accept no conflict within this crew that involves raised weapons or the diminishing of others. I understand Thaddeus is a beast man. Yes, he is an abomination. Yes, I will not allow anyone on board to mistreat this doctor. I have lost 3 of my principal agents in the last year because we did not have medical access available. The doctor is one of the most valued crew members. And to the rest of you, I understand that there may be various things that have brought you here. Attikus, your faith, your military training. Grimly, necessity, and your survival. There are those of you on this crew who do not have the option of a future outside of service. Gideon Kotov, you've been found guilty of crimes against humanity. But you are so useful that you're being allowed to continue your service, and our new friend, the Interrogator here, has brought us additional technology to allow us to continue the necessary work to defeat this cabal. Thaddeus, you serve unto death. You always have, you always will. That's kind of the deal, but you've been cleared by the Inquisition, and I appreciate that. Father Marcellus, it's nice to have a preacher on board. Finally, we can have weekly sermons bringing us back into the light which we have missed. Treseus, perhaps the truest hero of us all, someone willing to step beyond their simpler life and risk themselves to explore the stars in the Emperor's name. There are 2 of you who have not necessarily joined this cause and who have been brought here functionally as necessary assets. Both Morgan Rhalls and Eli Sharpe. I can't allow the Emperor to die, but I don't know your motivations. I can't guarantee that you care about this quest that we are going on, or that you would be willing to sacrifice yourselves to see it done.
At this point, just at like the merest hint of like doubt of Eli's intentions, he steps forward, just makes the sign of the Aquila, and just says like clearly like, I am his sword of retribution, I am his vessel of wrath, though I am but weak in mortal flesh, the spirit of his divine will fills and strengthens me, and steps back.
All right, I'm less concerned about Eli at this point, so Morgan, this one's just for you then. Obviously, we are moving towards Canehurst's vessel, and I require your assistance to get there. I require your assistance to find the next step of this journey. But to compel you to do that through violence defeats our own aims. I couldn't guarantee that you would be loyal. I couldn't guarantee you would leave us in the darker times. So I need to put light at the end of your tunnel. When we reach Canehurst's vessel and know the next path of our journey, I will turn over 1 million credits to you personally. and you'll be allowed to leave, should you want to end this quest and live out your life in ignominy and cowardice. Or you will have the option to continue onwards with us, and perhaps we could find a bright future for you within the Inquisition, as one day, perhaps, more than an agent. These are the terms. This is the job. This is what we're going to do. Each day, there will be 1 hour dedicated to military training, and the history of the Imperial Guard and that methodology through Attikus. There'll be 1 hour of training in close-quarter combat of boarding actions under the mastery of Eli Sharpe. There will be 1 hour of training in stealth and insertion tactics under Morgan Rhalls. Everyone will report to the doctor for a physical, and if you have any problems, you will continue to do so. And attendance at our weekly sermons by Father Marcellus are mandatory. I look forward to working with all of you. I look forward to saving the Emperor just as he has saved us. It is not our task to do the right thing. It is our task to save humanity. I trust you all to do the right thing. Interrogator. He just is ready to walk the interrogator out of the room. He said his whole fucking speech. He's good now.
Thunderhorn has tears in his eyes, soaking his furry face. Marcellus is muttering song lyrics, like he's working on a hymn about this. This is exactly the kind of moment that must be held to this. Kotov was just nodding the whole time, like when you're like crimes against humanity. It was just like kind of like an, oh yeah, man, yeah. You catch Troseus like out of the corner of your eye, and he's very still. He's like just stock still, and his little tiny like writing arms aren't writing. And he just seems legitimately touched that anyone's acknowledged him or his objectives, because like that's never been a part of his existence. It's just, be the mortar that holds the bricks together. So he's quite touched. Grimly is kind of Buster Bluthing his way behind a door frame, but he's near there. He's not. But you approach the interrogator, and she is giving you like an appraising look and kind of like bows slightly as you approach, in a deferential way, what you'd expect from an interrogator, but you can tell there's real respect in it. This kind of speech, I think, is probably pretty rare within the Imperium, and also if you think about an interrogator stationed on Hearthold sees action every so often, but it's a little bit like doing paperwork, as like the parts of a cop's life they never show in an action movie, where it's like a lot of the time you're just at this fucking base. So she bows and says, Inquisitor, that was, if I may speak bluntly, one hell of a speech. I am honored to be serving aboard your vessel. And as she stands, her features are strikingly familiar to you, even with the scar, because she's the striking image of her brother and sister, alto and lyric.
This episode of the Valentyne Heresy features Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter as Inquisitor Lucius Valentyne, Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter as Attikus Vis, Laura Hamstra at EL Hamstring on Twitter as Eli Sharpe, Del Borovic at Deltastic on Twitter as Morgan Rhalls, and our Game Master Tom McGee at McGeeTD on Twitter. This episode was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and the Valentyne Heresy's artwork was created by Del Borovic at delborovic.com, DELBOROVIC. Our theme song is The Hordes by Megan McDuffie, and our ads use the tracks No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR, available at freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum-Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com. Our Twitter and Instagram are at dumdumdice, and on Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. We have merchandise available at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice, and most importantly, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDICE. Ave Imperator, and death to all the heretics.
Dum-Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time: the Half-Blind Prophet, Christopher Little, Sue One, George Dolby, Richard Cranium, Sammy Boy, Orion Birchfield, Scott Garland, Benjamin V, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Logan, Fire Unfriendly, Acrix, Grandma Likes D&D, Alan, Austin Nut Powers Fry, Stabby Stranger, Glitch Trick, Roman Brown, Shulzari, Christian Mendez, Spot Allen, Flynn 1138, Alarain Okapi, OMG It's Big Nick, Steve Wees, D&D and Things, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumbdumbdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.